Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Alright, so in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the intimate relationships, traumas and transformation, all connected with having the sign of Virgo ruling your 8th house within your natal birth chart. Now this video is specifically directed towards those of you who have Virgo ruling your 8th house. Now if you actually are a Virgo yourself, meaning your sun is in Virgo, well, this video may be for you if you do have Virgo ruling your 8th, but it may also not be for you, okay? So it's just really important that you look to see whichever sign rules your 8th house within your natal birth chart. So for example, if you've got Aries ruling your 8th house, then go to the Aries video. Also, if you have maybe Pisces ruling your 8th house, then go to the Pisces ruling the 8th house video. I will be doing a video on all 12 signs, okay? However, before we do get started, if you would like to know more information all about the sign of Scorpio within astrology, so looking at your Scorpio house within your natal birth chart, looking at your Pluto sign and house, along with your 8th house within your birth chart, then I have created a Scorpio season/archetype ebook. So what I am going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today. Alright, so with all those introductions out of the way, Virgo ruling the 8th house, let's do this. Okay, so we're going to start off by looking at, Virgo, your approach towards your intimate relationships, followed by possible traumatic emotional blockages, really to bring to your attention. And then we're going to finish off by addressing your transformation. So really looking at how you can evolve here and how you can grow and how you can really rise up from those hypothetical phoenix ashes that connect in with the symbol of Scorpio and Pluto. So to begin then, your approach towards your intimate relationships here, Virgo. Now, there's something quite specific about how you approach your intimate relationships. Yes, there is a curiosity that you possess where you really want to be able to identify the practical measures and means of how to please and serve your intimate partner, but you may do it in a rather specific way. And this can be quite magnetic and powerful, especially if your partner tells you exactly what they want in order to feel pleasure, or if they elaborate on their sexual desires and then you deliver exactly what they want. Then that just may blow the mind of that person. But still, the specifics may even become a little bit like awkward or a bit unsure, or it can even possibly lead into picky behavior where you may then start to pick apart too much or think too much into how you're performing sexually or how you're giving within that intimate relationship. Or of course this could be where you experience these power plays with a specific intimate partner over these things, where then it may be them who's quite picky towards you. It's more about looking at the practicality, so looking at the realistic viewpoint towards intimate relationships and wanting to actually structure that relationship in a way that is in a good order, and you can properly identify how you can grow and evolve together. And so maybe you may unconsciously try to be that for your intimate partner because you really yearn for that intimate connection in a way that it validates your own insecurities, your own uncertainties. So in this way you may be quite self-serving and pleasing, but at the same time, is it possible here, Virgo, that you may place certain expectations and standards onto that partner without them properly knowing that you're psychologically doing it? Or is it that you become emotionally manipulated into these expectations and standards from your partner towards yourself? Your catalyst for change, Virgo, is found in you serving or wanting to be served by said partner, but it could even be where they cannot deliver certain expectations that you place onto them. And so there may be this dutiful, like, I need to do this, or I have to deliver the best of my ability. It's almost like you're constantly on performance mode. It's as though you're just very self-conscious of every single little action that you do within that intimate relationship, and you also may be very conscious and honed in specifically on what they're doing. And through that, it can create a lot of like chaos or a lot of disruption, because what if you find something that you don't like? What if you find something that doesn't line up with the sort of perfectionist type of outlook that you hold towards that union with this person? And does that then suggest that they didn't deliver to the full extent that you were looking for? And if so, do you sort of just adapt, or do you move on to someone else? But even on that note, there may be this tendency of you really seeking to work through particular power plays or conflicts or tough times, like really tough times, where this can be a partner, for example, presenting their inner demons towards you, opening up, being vulnerable. And what you might do, Virgo, is you may look at this person and say or think, I will fix you, I will help you, I will serve you, I will mend all of those inner demons that you have within you. But through that outlook, you aren't then very much aware of that person's individual part in it. And what I mean by this, Virgo, is that you may unconsciously try to fix this person so much, but then it's a question of, well, do they actually see it, or do they acknowledge it themselves, or do they then just start to depend on you to be that kind of provider or supporter or server? Do they then see you and think, ah, well, I can get whatever I want from Virgo, I can, you know, take Virgo for all they're worth? Because this is the thing, you can potentially be taken for granted. You may be well-intended and you may want to help heal in that way through that Virgo energy, but if you are presented with certain intimate connections that see those things within you and they see them maybe as a weakness, as something to manipulate and control, right? 8th house is a house of control. Then you may find yourself trapped in certain unions that are not healthy for you. It's good for you to look at your own health, your own well-being. And even when it comes to the whole Mercury side of this, right? So looking at the mind, you may go into your mind a lot and just keep thinking about that intimate relationship and how much you want to give, or the things that you can do to make it better or improve it, and you just think and think and think and think, and you may overanalyze to the point of exhaustion, where you then forget about, well, what are your needs? What's the things that you can do even physically with your body? Do you sort of put certain healthy boundaries and day-to-day tasks that you do to the side for this intimate partner? This can be an area of life where you do refine your skills here with money and finances, and you may have your head screwed on very well when it comes to the joint accounts, because of like how you seek to learn more about it and you want to gain more information from it. But as you sort of improve and you continue to improve, You also have to make sure that the other person is aware of their position. And also looking at the perfectionist side of things here as well, Virgo, okay? You may be so honed in on specifics or getting it right and correct within the bedroom, within your intimate relationship, that you then unconsciously see that relationship through what's correct. And that may be a bit annoying for the partner you're with to handle, because if you're so honed in on that partner always getting it right, it needs to be clean, it needs to be this way, it needs to be organized, you need to do that, like it can be quite naggy, like that nagging type of energy. If you're doing that in the partner, it can sort of also wear them down a little bit. But then again, it could be that you somehow attract someone who is maybe a bit of a freeloader, or you attract someone into your life who you have been fixing, but then you get to a point where you realize that you physically cannot do it anymore. This could even be where you are so focused on keeping things so tidy and prim and proper that if there are serious issues that arise from within that intimate partnership, you then may not even communicate what's going on. You may kind of just sweep it under the rug and not let on to other people, because maybe there's a subconscious fear of you being seen as the person that got it wrong, the person who used poor judgment. And you also may not like being seen as someone who made a wrong decision, Virgo. But you really got to ask yourself, you know, what is worth it? Being seen in a particular way for the decisions you've made within intimate relationships, or just being true to yourself and understanding that we all make mistakes, we all mess up, we all make decisions that perhaps were not very good for us. And instead of worrying and getting anxious over that decision you made, or worrying or getting anxious over that certain partner that you were with that ended up to it just was a disaster, instead of getting anxious and worried about it, you just learn from it, you know, and you really use that as a tool then to help you moving forward into new intimate relationships. Now let's move on to the traumas, okay? So where could all this be sort of stemming from? What could you have experienced in a traumatic sense? And you know, this could be that there's been traumas associated with anxiety or worry, just a lot of worry. Like, it just feel like you can be that type of person, Virgo, who just worries a lot about your past traumas. You worry a lot about what you went through, and you almost go into your memory banks and you're constantly trying to fix it. Fixing what happened, trying to make sense of what happened. And that, of course, in a logical way, in a rational way, it can be good to go into the memory stores, to go into your brain, to figure that out. So in this way, it may be beneficial, of course, for you to seek therapy or speak with a counselor or a psychologist about this in order for you to make logical sense out of it, so it's all organized in your mind, which of course can be really, really helpful for you. But this whole ruminating, constantly trying to fix it in your mind, that can just be so unproductive. And looking at unproductive ways of thinking, well, it could be that you just repeat the same traumatic experience in your head over and over and over, and it's almost like you're trying to find something new from it to justify why it happened, or justify to you how you can grow or heal or improve from it. And then also, you may be that type of thinker who just goes to the worst case scenario in your brain when it comes to intimate relationships. You kind of subconsciously already go into that intimate relationship expecting it to fail or expecting it to not work out. It's almost like you give into self-sabotage unknowingly by expecting the worst, by getting obsessed with all of the faults that could potentially come from the intimate relationship. So with this, you may focus more on all the things that need fixing rather than what is good within it. Again, looking at the traumas, this could stem back from you just focusing on what's wrong with yourself, you being told even by people within your life that there's something inherently wrong with you, that there's something to be fixed about you, that you maybe grew up with these high expectations to perform better, to do better. There's just could have been constant improvement that was just stabbed into your psyche, and I was like, come on, Virgo. And that could have just led to this very fixating, overthinking, analytical mind that just criticizes yourself and criticizes your intimate relationships. Another thing could be that you have experienced quite a traumatic experience in connection with just like awkwardness, or being seen as this frigid type of person who was all, oh, you know, Virgo, look at Virgo, she's all holier than thou, blah, blah, blah. And people may have picked on you for that, picked on you for your decision to maybe, I don't know, not lose your virginity before marriage as a possibility, or not lose your virginity until you were in a committed relationship with someone, or because of your decision not to kiss that person just for the sake of kissing that person, you know. And other people may have looked at you and thought, well, what's wrong with you? Like, everybody's doing this, and who do you think you are? And maybe in a way that was quite traumatic for you, but yet you may have still stuck to your guns and were like, I don't care, I'm gonna still stay true to my own values and things. So there may be some traumas in association with your own sexuality and how that can be quite an awkward area for you. But it can even be that you processed death or the absence of someone you really loved. You process that in a way that you didn't really allow yourself to properly feel the grief, the sadness and the hurt. You instead may have processed it through your mind and tried to rationalize it all rather than properly feeling those deeper emotions. It could be that you just obsess, you're just obsessive towards your health, or you always think that you have to like figure out and investigate what is going on inside of you. But again, it's done so through this more analytical mindset. And so perhaps it's good for you to learn how to release a lot of the emotional baggage that you hold within yourself rather than rationalizing everything. So if you went through a certain traumatic experience, trying to, of course, allow the emotion to flow naturally rather than it being entrapped or repressing certain emotions. Let's move on to the transformation itself. And I think part of the transformation process here, Virgo, lies in you realizing that not everything has to be perfect within an intimate relationship, and also not everything has to be perfect when it comes to the emotions either. Again, this could be where you look at certain emotions as ugly, as wrong, or as incorrect. Maybe that's how you were made to think about it whenever you were growing up from certain people. But of course, emotions are emotions. It doesn't mean that by you expressing a certain emotion that's maybe a bit ugly in your mind, you know, it doesn't mean that it's wrong or bad. It's just that it's an emotion. It's a certain emotion that you're feeling at that time, and it's important for you to let it be felt. Of course, it doesn't mean you have to react on that particular emotion, but it's just good to feel it. So yeah, looking at this whole perfectionism, and also looking at your tendency to really be in your own head, overanalyzing, overthinking constantly, trying to fix everything in your head. And also when it comes to the joint finances and the accounts, keep your smarts about you, keep your wit about you. Pay attention to how much you are giving, serving, how much you're receiving, rather than you potentially being taken for granted by another person, or possibly even controlled or confined by another person as well. Another thing is looking at the sexual submission. So if you like a bit of sexual submission and you're that type of Virgo and it's all good and you enjoy that, then that's great. But if you're the type of Virgo who gives in to being sexually submissive, but there's still that part of you that feels like it's not what you want, or maybe you feel like you're being pressured or cornered into it by someone else through this control and dominance, or because you think that you're not as good as this other person, you're less than, please Virgo, it's good to address that and to look at your own sexual desires and what they are. And yes, it could even be that you deem certain sexual desires or activities as wrong or bad once again, or as incorrect. But I think with that, it's good to look at certain sexual acts and really, again, feeling into what turns you on in that way. Is it that you funnel it through anxiety and worry and purification and, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be doing that, that's wrong, that's bad? Or do you allow yourself to properly feel into your body and let yourself be like pleasured in that way towards certain sexual desires, okay? And I think that if you can learn to look at your own sexual desires and also looking at your emotions and how you can feel emotionally fulfilled within an intimate relationship, I think by addressing those things, it will bring you so much more closer to your intimate partner, and it can really create that deep bond and intimate connection with them. Another thing here, of course, is to let go of the notion that your past traumas should be perfectly healed or mended all the time. Realizing that you cannot change the past. Okay, you cannot change the past no matter how many times you try to fix it in your brain. Also, funneling your vulnerabilities. You may funnel your vulnerabilities through the lens of anxiety and worry, and you can just worry yourself sick. And not worrying of your vulnerabilities may stop you from opening up to an intimate partner about what you're actually feeling and what you're going through. And that can be quite dissatisfying for you, and it can all just build up and build up, and I'm sure that that can possibly lead to some sort of health implications for you, Virgo. So it's good to look at those vulnerabilities. Also, it's good to accept what your vulnerabilities are, realizing that, yeah, we all make mistakes. No one's perfect. It's good to strive for perfectionism, right? It's good to strive for it, but still, we all make mistakes. We're all flawed in some way. So maybe it would be good just to accept your flaws for what they are, to accept your vulnerabilities for what they are, rather than constantly trying to hide them away, keep them secret, don't let on, because it means that you're going to be seen as this flawed, undeserving individual by somebody else. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on Virgo ruling the 8th house within the natal birth chart. Now, if you do happen to have Virgo ruling your 8th house, then let us know in the comment section down below what you thought of the video. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click that subscribe button. And I will be back with another video very, very soon.